To. So going
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the frontiers of Eberron. I am Michael St. Gregory, your humble game master, alongside a full cast. We're still waiting on one of them, but we are all here. We are all back. No more flashbacks. No more backstory. Just straight up adventure. And I am going to drive these people crazy. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Don't tempt us with a good time.
But before we begin, first off, let's go around real quick and just say who we are and who we're playing, starting with the person immediately to my right.
Hey guys, I'm Dia, also known as Dia Vol Cosplay on mostly TikTok, but all forms of social media. That's your Twitter and your Instagram as well. But I'm most active on TikTok. I play Sister Mirashana, who is a Kalashtar sorcerer, now partly paladin. We'll see how that goes.
Hi, I am Ren. I am Mask Ren on TikTok. I play Evan, who is our completely normal person who is also a druid.
Yes, that's me. Hi, I'm Matt. I am also known as War Torn Knight out there, everywhere on the interwebs, literally everywhere. You can try searching somewhere. I'm there. I am playing. I don't know. It's been a while. How do you pronounce this? C. Las Hadin. I don't know. I guess he's maybe
What are you, a
an
character from
artificer,
Dune?
sorcerer. I don't know. We'll figure out what
He is
what
the
this guy's all
Kwisatz
about. maybe.
Haderach. All right.
Greetings and salutations. I am Daddy Tarzan 82855 on all social media platforms. You can catch me on TikTok doing D&D rants occasionally. My name is Alfie in this situation, who is a deranged artificer who likes to carry around a boom tube that does magical stuff. It's pretty delightful.
Hi, I'm Madame Moriarty on both Instagram and TikTok, and I play a cleric named Doc Davenport. He is a half-orc with a special interest in women and alcohol.
That I don't know if that's an expertise level or.
But I'm proficient in both.
It's expertise level. Man has mastered out the dungeon and the brothel. Like
I'm an expert in alcohol and women.
What do you think his doctorate is in? Because it's sure as shit ain't medicine.
It's the medicine. That's medicine.
I'm kidding.
It's a doctor of love. All right, enough of you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Itsy Bitsy Pixie. I just go by Pixie for short, and you can mostly find me on TikTok, though I technically have an Instagram that hasn't been updated in forever, because that's like my thing now, that I supposedly do the socials, but I don't do the socials at the same time. There will be new content at some point, somehow, some way. But anyway, I'm playing Ellen, our sheriff and our paladin.
And I guess that goes to me. Hello, my name is Taylor, also known as Nerdy Pinup Girl on all social media platforms. I play Ivara, who is the brothel owner. Good friends with Doc Davenport, of course. And she is a witch, which is a homebrew class done by the amazing Neo Soul God.
And we will be shortly joined by our resident spooky druid, who will be making an appearance as we enter the Endworld Mountains. But I think with all that being said, of course, follow us online everywhere at 2BDicedADV if you're not already, because it's time to be diced. Let's ride. It is been quite a journey up until this point. The posse, the adventuring party, the deputized sheriffs, the law-abiding citizens, or rather a group of individuals who are just thrown into a story they have no idea is how it's going to end, have found themselves just finishing up the biggest test they've ever faced. Coming to understand things about themselves, their abilities, and even their intentions. Stirring up memories of the past, understanding things they may not have understood before, unlocking things that need to be explored, but knowing that, above all, they know where an ally is located, and they know that the point of their mission now is to find them, so ultimately they can band together to save their town. You all find yourselves now on the outskirts of the temple, having passed through the desert safely, thanks to the Yuan-Ti tribe, who have taken their leave back to their own settlements, to a different part of the Talenta Plains. They leave you with supplies, rations, water skins filled with anything that you basically need to survive. By normal mortal standards, of course. The idea that survival is now more important than ever is number one on everyone's mind at this point. But beneath the surface of everyone's thoughts, there lies much more and maybe more complex things. Sister Mira, what are you going through in your head right now at this time?
We've had a lot happen, and at this moment she still has the words of the sheriff ringing in her head after we faced that trial with the Lord of Blades. She's become quite subdued since then. She seems sort of almost lost in her own thoughts, almost half wandering through everyone else's, if that makes sense. She's been trying to sort of gauge where the group stands at this moment, and she's sort of like just up against the wall, thinking, considering, planning for what might come, especially once we return back to town.
How about you, Evan?
Evan is slightly less freaked out than before. She's having to come to terms with a lot of things at once, and she still is not sure why she's here as a part of this, but she's just trying to make it through until she can get back to town and maybe find her sheep and maybe run far away.
Silas.
Silas has learned a lot in the past couple hours about Wormwatch, about Eberron as a whole, and about himself. And at the end of the day, he's just pissed. Everything that he's doing is quiet and reserved, short answers whenever he's asked a question. He's not unhelpful when he needs to, but just he has a particular goal in mind now, and his methods of achieving that goal are not going to be very nice.
Interesting. Alfie. You nut bar.
triazine, diactyl sabacate, polyisobutylene, some type of mineral. Phosphorus, no. Iron. That should work. He's basically mentally going through the components that he needs to restockpile his compound 4 that was destroyed by the Lord of Blades.
So a normal day of obsession.
Yes.
Nothing has phased Alfie.
I have a question for Tarzan really quick. You can say all of that crap, but you cannot say dimensional dial of Dr. Diago. Carry on.
He's not wrong.
What's up, Doc?
So, after close call and encounter that we had with the Lord of Blades, Doc is he's always kind of taken things ever since he kind of left the war front, started anew, kind of just taking things kind of under the radar. He doesn't really get too in and messy, but he's realized that the conflict that's facing the town and the new friends that he's made over the past years, there's real danger here. There's real lives at stake, and he really needs to try to tap into that young, wild spirit he had when he had first joined the army all those years ago, and instead, this time, use that to put an end to whatever is wrong. So he's on a mission, and he realizes that he needs to really focus hard, start taking it a lot more seriously.
Ivara.
So Ivara has just witnessed the images of the place that she has called home for the past few years up in flames. And she is extremely silent right now. Her face doesn't really show any emotion aside from probably a very straight look of determination. She knows what she wants to do. She can see that the home that she has built up again from the ground up is in danger, and she is like, we are finding Delilah and we are fucking shutting this shit down because I'm not about to lose the fucking town that we have.
And sorry for moving everybody around for a moment.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I'm just trying to get it back in order. Okay, there we go. And Sheriff Ellen.
Sheriff.
If that is your real name.
Did anybody watch?
If you don't know what I'm talking
flashbacks?
about, watch the previous episodes, folks.
I think Ellen at this point, there is the lingering maybe shell shock from that battle with the Lord of Blades, that test with the Lord of Blades, but I think that pales in comparison for Ellen to reuniting with Brass and getting to have the conversation she had with him. And I think her main focuses now are bringing this to an end, saving Wormwatch, not only to redeem herself as current sheriff, but probably to she's got stuff to prove to Brass. And of course, first and foremost, there is still that ultimate motivation and goal to reunite with Delilah, especially now. So yeah, she's kind of tunnel vision right now. It's all hero brain going on at the moment.
With that being said, I believe that we had established that you and Alfie are leading the party at this moment, and you're kind of taking Alfie's lead as he was able to determine the direction towards the mountains that you were supposed to be going. So
That
if the
sounds
two of
familiar.
you could give me a survival check. Now here's the cool thing, everyone. See this below me? That's our new virtual dice table. You get to see what we roll. Isn't this cool? Yeah, thanks to 3D Dice, that's dddice.com. It's an awesome tool. I have no real say in it. I just really like it. And they were kind enough to give me some access to some cool stuff. So, yeah.
Question on the dice roller.
Sure,
Are we
sure.
just adding our modifier,
Yeah,
or
just
is there a way to
just-
add it on the
There
thing?
is, if you'd like.
Okay.
But
I'm just
for
curious
the
if
sake of
it'll
yours,
add it.
if you'd like, you can just do the math yourself. What do you add
Yeah.
to yours?
I think, let's see, 7, and it was a survival check.
Yeah.
So +6, so 13.
There you go. That's a 13. Alfie, what about you?
Oh, I got a +1, but I'm working on it.
Are you still customizing it? Which is
No,
a thing that
I'm
you
just
can do.
adding my modifier right now.
Oh. That's right, folks. We use it on our phones. That's how awesome it is. All right, so you got a 6. Okay. So here's the thing. It is getting close to being dark. And while you haven't quite found the safest entry point into the mountains, you do know that this is about as good as you can get in terms of a safe spot to rest for a bit.
Oh, am I looking at like the mountain right now to get into? That changes things.
Yeah, you're okay. Then what bullshit power are you going to use here? No, I'm kidding. I know
Stone cunning.
It's your stone cunning. Yeah, so that's an advantage roll. That's fine.
All right, let's try that again because that was terrible. +1 roll. That's even worse.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with my original story as you set up for a spot to rest. Okay. What's going on with our who's doing what in camp setting?
Alfie, as soon as we decided that we are setting up for camp, Alfie quickly starts pulling out like components out of his bag of holding to start setting up a makeshift working station for himself. And he is going nice. I like it. And is setting up his alchemist kit to start working on compiling Compound 4.
Okay.
And you just hear him furiously digging through this giant satchel. I need the speaker. That's about right. Yep. And goes back in, pulls out like multiple glass vials, starts tossing them left and right. No, I don't need this fucking shit. What? Where's my tongs?
I would say after Ellen has sort of overseen Alfie a little bit and realized that he should just be left to his own business, Ellen will just be sort of going around camp, making sure that everybody's comfortable, that they have their setup. Is there anything that they need? She'll just be kind of like systematically checking on everyone as they get set up.
I would like then for you to do an all-encompassing insight check on this group. And
oh boy.
We will have yours be the public one.
Okay. So +3. 16.
So, on a 16, everybody else can roll either deception or persuasion. Just don't tell us what.
Okay.
Silas got... apparently it can't see it. I'm going to refresh
There was an
yours.
option to do it hidden. So I
Oh,
did
it
that.
was hidden. So you can tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You should message me then if you're going to do that, because I can't see the hidden rolls.
I figured with you as the DM, it would let you
You
see
would
that.
think, right? But it turns out it didn't do that.
Oh, shoot.
That's okay. I will say this though. If anyone rolled above what Ellen rolled, which was I believe
16.
16. Raise your hand. Okay. So Ellen, you'll be able to basically pick up the vibes of Silas, Doc, and Ivara.
can you tell me what I rolled? Because I have no idea.
I don't know what you rolled, so we're just gonna let Alfie be Alfie.
I mean, Alfie wouldn't be is completely in his zone anyway,
Yeah,
so there's no
exactly.
like deception or actually trying to.
He
persuade
wears his
anything.
bombs on his sleeve.
Right.
Maybe if you didn't make your dice Vanta black, you'd be able to.
It wouldn't load, man. I was waiting for it to
It's
load.
a new toy, everybody. It's a new toy. We're still figuring it out. Yeah, so Ellen, you'd basically be able to pick up the vibes of either or, it could be all three, of Silas, Davenport, and Avara.
Say that one more time. I don't think my brain
Silas-
processed what you said.
Silas, Avara, and Davenport are the ones who you're being able to pick up the vibes on.
Oh,
Pick up the
Mira as
vibes
well.
on. Okay.
I was distracted by the pretty dice. They look so cool.
Do I have a hint at all as to what kind of vibes I'm picking up? Am I not
I'll let
believing
them,
them? Am I?
I will say
am I
for the three that I
role-playing with?
mentioned, the three of you can be upfront right now with what you believe with your role you are trying to put on as a, So what would Ellen see if she was seeing Ivara? What would she see for Doc, for Silas?
I would say Vara is probably going to be fiddling with a tarot deck a little bit. She's just going to be continuously shuffling anything that comes out. She's going to look at it, place it in certain positions, and she's just kind of going to be keeping to herself. But again, I think she's more trying to figure out exactly like what the next move should be, what is to come with this disaster that is in our wake. And with determination, she at this point now sitting down also just looks extremely worried. She is terrified for her girls back at the brothel, as well as just everybody else in the town.
Am I getting a roleplay turn to interact with each one of these characters, by the way, or are we just
It's
going through?
it's all you.
Cool. Being that Ellen had a sort of nomadic period in her life, does she recognize what a tarot deck is right away?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not an uncommon practice.
Okay. That being said, then Ellen will check on Ivara first and come up and sort of slow her pace down and then just sort of sit down beside. Seems like you're doing an awful lot of pulling there, Ivara. They're telling you anything you want to see?
She is just frantically shuffling right now as every cards keep pulling out. Some of them come out facing upwards, upside down. Some of them come out facing downwards. The ones that she faced downwards, she's going to set to the side. And then the ones that are facing upwards, depending on if they are upside down or right side up, she will set them in certain positions. And she just kind of glances over at Ellen, and then she stops shuffling for a moment and she goes, I just saw almost every single one of my companions die and turn to dust right in front of me. You included. I don't quite know what these cards are telling me, but I'm going to try and at least see or figure something out to prevent this from happening, because I know for a fact that Lord of Blades ain't going to be the worst battle we're about to face here.
No, I reckon so. That was a test. It's quite the test. As far as I know, I ain't ever died before. Definitely don't care to do that again. But, darling, I know that you're doing that to comfort yourself and to figure things out. But... And she'll sort of take her hand and place it over Ivara's. Remember that... Well, one time when I was wandering around, I came across a witch myself, and she did a little bit of reading for me, and frankly, I didn't quite like what she told me. It is pretty heavy stuff, but I've done my best to live in the opposite. of what was read to me that day, and I reckon she'll take her hand away. The words she said to me have always stuck with me, that they were a bit like suggestions. Take them as you will, but always remember that you can bend them messages to your will. And if getting home and saving everybody is what your will is, then Ivara, I believe that we can.
Ivara just kind of chuckles as she starts shuffling again and shuffling the cards. She looks over at Ellen and she goes, "Darling, if there's one thing I've learned about learning this practice, learning anything and everything that has to do with this kind of magic that I've been learning about myself and everything around me, is that no matter what the cards draw, manifestation is always what comes with it. And I myself choose to deny faith, to deny whatever destiny and what is presented towards me. I will accept the consequences that come with it, because with everything that you take, there's something you always got to give. But that's the thing about manifesting. If you know where to put your cards in the right places, then maybe it'll play out in your favor." And as she finishes shuffling, the Fool's card will fall upwards. And she's just going to reach down, picking it up. She's just going to wave it for a second. And she goes, "I always find it funny that this card tends to find itself when I am seeking something new or something that I am very so much needed. Because even though it seems the Fool is jumping off the edge, we don't know what's at the bottom of that cliff. And sometimes it takes jumping off the edge to risk it all and everything in order for us to find what we need at the bottom of that cliff." And with that, she's going to kind of retreat back into herself as she just starts analyzing her cards again. She's kind of very much almost kind of in a meditative state, and almost not really manifesting, but she's kind of setting her intentions currently right now.
Mm-hmm. Ellen will sort of give a little smile at that, nod, see that she returns to her reading work, and yeah, I reckon we're all about to jump head first. All right, I'll leave you to it, girl. And she'll get up again and she'll start wandering around camp.
Silas, give me a perception check. Ooh, okay. I would say that you would notice Ellen walking around. Now you scored pretty high on your number. If you could describe what's going on the outside as opposed to what's going on the inside.
So, what the curious onlooker could see of Silas as we're kind of getting down to camp after a long day of traveling, when we were after fighting the Lord of Blades, and then as we were getting things together, he was visibly agitated. But it seems that over the walk, he has kind of recentered. He has got a new focus on, and now that we're in camp, he has laid out some of his tools, and he has the chain shirt that he was wearing during the fight that the Lord of Blades literally ripped off of him. And he has laid it out, and he is methodically putting the broken links back together. And while casting mending, is basically using his wand as a spot welder, and the spark he lines one up, spark hits as he looks away, checks the weld, and just does that all the way down to repair the chain shirt. That's what he's working on currently.
That's so cool.
Indubious smash.
I did
Ellen
it,
will-
Tarzan.
Ellen will sort of be wandering around with her hands in her pockets of her duster. And she'll sort of, again, kind of slow and sort of do like a little bit of a Mandarin sway. You see one foot kind of go whoop and down, and she's watching, she's looking. And then you can see that shift in her face of like, yeah, I'm going to check on Silas next. And she starts walking towards. That seems like some mighty meticulous work you got going on there. How's it coming?
It'll be just as good as it was before in probably about 2 or 3 minutes. Of course, I don't
Alright.
have any use for it anymore. It was kind of clanky. Not really my style, but it was functional.
I was going to say, why were you wearing it then?
Well, we were out and about. We were getting shot at. We were fighting giant scorpions and pseudo red wormlings and all that kind of jazz. So, yeah, I decided to armor up a little bit. But I don't know. Seems that some things have caused me to get a little bit of a thicker skin, if you know what I mean.
I reckon I got an idea what you're referring to. When you fix it, what are you going to do with it then? You going to give it away?
Maybe if somebody wants it, or potentially if we make it back to Wormwatch and somebody comes through, maybe sell it.
That's fair, that's fair.
Once we put the whole place back together.
Ellen will kind of cross her hands underneath her arms and just sort of look down for a while. Silas, just between you and I, seeing as how we're both complicated folk.
If that's the word you want to use.
Complicated is about as diplomatic as I can probably get.
Heard that.
You actually holding up okay?
Yeah, why?
Why? I reckon you've had a bit of a hard couple days like the rest of us, and I don't know, kind of like myself, it seems like maybe harder than most.
Could use an extra cup of coffee, maybe. But other than that, keep the head down, keep focused. Eventually, the project will come together.
Did somebody say coffee? I got glycerin I can make coffee with.
Nobody
Alfie,
said
don't you got
coffee.
stuff to work on?
Oh, no.
Not one person said coffee.
I know I was early out in that test. Embarrassing, really. Not my proudest moment. Did anything of particular importance happen while I was dead?
Well, you went down. Evan went down shortly after. I think Alfie tried to blow us all up and ended up getting himself blown up. I
That
think he
sounds like
meant
the
well
way
with
he
it,
would go
though.
out.
Yeah, he's for sure going to be his own undoing. And shortly after that, I got a new one of my own ripped. So next thing after that, we were all standing happy-go-lucky in front of an obelisk talking to brass. as he is going over the armor that was pierced to bring about his own undoing.
Yeah, that, Sometimes the flashbacks I get they're filled with an awful lot of violence, but I don't know if I've ever had a flashback nearly as jarring as that test. That was something else. Well, I'll tell you what. I reckon you and I got some of that kind of stuff in common. Not the most open sort, but just she'll sort of look down again, kick the dirt. I don't know. If you ever need to talk about anything, you just give me a holler. I won't be shitting around with you, and hell, I always keep something strong on hand, so you know. And she'll just sort of nudge him with her elbow, and then you'll sort of see her do that same kind of meander, and she'll sway a little bit. She'll sort of slowly start her pace, and then pretty soon she'll just let her arms down. And she'll just roll on.
As she's walking away, just, hey, Sheriff, take care of yourself. I mean that.
I'll do my best, as long as you do the same.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Doc Davenport, if you wouldn't mind, give me an insight roll on yourself. Because
Okay.
here's something that kind of has been swept under the rug. You don't know how you ended up in that battle, as you were kind of MIA after everything went down in town, and your memory is still fuzzy as to the events of what happened during the riot up until you essentially taking over and replacing a party member whose arm turned into the deadliest warforged known to existence in some sort of hallucinatory battle sequence.
A lot's been going on. Let me go ahead
and there are faces that you recognize, but one you don't, at least regularly. You have seen them around town. So why don't you roll an insight on yourself and see how you're feeling. Okay. So that is going to be your level of how honest you're going to be with yourself about how you feel about everything.
Ooh. I think Doc wants to feel like he's ready to take this thing head on. Like, he's ran in a battle before and he can definitely do it again. But there's something inside of him that's just almost feels like so much has gone wrong. He doesn't quite know if he can even trust himself to do what he needs to do if he were called to action. He doesn't know if he can trust some of the people in this group. He's seen so much about the town that he's never known about before. And so there's this small little scared little boy who's worried that if the time comes, is he gonna run or is he gonna be able to be the man that he wants to be? So he's kind of just like thinking to himself, trying to push that part away, but he can still feel it tugging on like almost like the hem of his shirt, like a little boy, just like, what if we're wrong? What if we can't save everybody again? If we can't save everybody, why even try?
In times like this, has Doc honestly ever turned to a spiritual source of guidance?
I would say Doc is at least spiritual. He doesn't like go to the church or anything, but he prays from time to time. it helps to quiet his mind. So yeah.
You're aware of the one spiritual source in your party in the form of Sister Mirashana. You are aware that Evan, at least in this time of leaving the temple up until walking and getting to this point in camp, you've at least be able to become accustomed with her and know that she is a practicing druid, just a local farmer in town. But there was something you were able to pick up in terms of just that sort of connection to an otherworldly force that you necessarily have never really known yourself, but you are aware of. And between the two of them, who would you like to perhaps talk this out with?
Ooh. I mean, I think Doc is gonna. I think he's maybe gonna go talk to Mira.
Okay.
So that's happening right now.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so so Doc, he's a bottle of whiskey open, but Ellen, maybe your paladin has noticed he hasn't taken a sip from it. He's opened it, but he's just kind of letting the stuff evaporate out as he's just kind of sitting there. He's bouncing his knee. Bouncing his knee gets faster and faster and faster and faster until he puts a firm hand on his own leg, and using that, he stands up from where he's been sitting. And Doc puts down the bottle, and he heads over to wherever Mira is. There's Mira right now.
So, you guys would know Mira is not an outdoorsy girl. Every time you set up, without fail, she's gone to someone else to sort of offer assistance and, get their input as to, is this the best way to pitch a tent? Have I nailed it down far enough? You see in this time, she's actually sidled up to Evan, who was familiar to her from the brief moments they passed each other by in the marketplaces. And you can tell from her expression and body language, she is having a full-on conversation with the druid, but nothing is coming out of her mouth. And you get the impression that she does have these moments where her mind is moving so fast that her mouth doesn't even bother to catch up. So she is speaking entirely to Devin telepathically until she notices Doc coming up and you hear, huh? In your head.
Doc is going to take notice of the conversation that's going on, and he's going to hesitate because, it might be rude of me to, interrupt these two ladies who are having this conversation, but he's this nagging that he feels he can't put it off any longer. It's just going to follow him. So very tentatively, he kind of goes up and waits for the right moment to kind of tip his hat at Mira and go, ladies, for interrupting you, but Sister Mira, I could really use some of your guidance right now. It's not too much to ask. I understand you're having quite a fast conversation right now, but if you could spare a minute or two, just to hear a confused man out.
Cool. She sets down the mallet that she was using to hammer the pitons and from the side of the tent and nods to Evan, excuses herself to move aside with you. Is everything all right?
I know I don't go to church. I know you guys don't see me, doing daily or even weekly or monthly worships, but at my core, I was raised young man. I look to higher powers for help from time to time. I pray often, but it seems as of late, my prayers have gone wholly unanswered. And I just feel so lost. And, I've seen everything that's happened to our town and our friends and any sense. Why would any of these things be happening? Even though people hope and pray for the best, it seems like there's just so much going on. I'm scared, Sister Mira, that I can't step up when my friends will leave me. And that is the deepest fear I have, and I feel like you're the only one who could really put that to rest right now. I need to know and what to expect. I don't know what to do.
Mira takes a moment to consider what you've said. And while she does so, I'm going to quickly plug in my laptop before it dies. And she says, it's still in your head. When you say prayers, is it guidance or favors you ask for, usually?
I mean, I've prayed for favors, but you know, I feel like only so much intervention can happen. So I stopped asking for favors and more for guidance. But even now, I feel so lost, even within myself.
You would have been wise to do that. I found that when people pray more so for favors and ask for what they don't have, it's almost as if they're complacent with where they stand. They just expect that of which they ask for to be delivered to them. And in doing so, they make no effort to progress themselves forward. I wish I had the answers for you in this moment as to why. But right now, it just seems that there's some very bad people and very unfortunate circumstances that no one has had the goal to step up and address before now. And I suppose that's up to us.
But you're a holy woman, Sister Mira. I mean, where do you go for solace? Like, I could really use some now, but I can't seem to find it.
Give me a religion check. As you pause
Doc is sweating.
in spiritual contemplation.
Oh, I do not wish to add my entire pile. No, stop that. Clear that. There we go. No! I'm gonna ignore that. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Oh,
Absolutely
wow,
not.
42.
Yeah,
Wow.
No, let's ignore that.
What
She
a
is the
religion
god.
check.
Double tap. Okay,
You,
I
you
get it.
realize that you are, in fact, have risen to deity.
What's
Oh my God.
religion?
Yeah.
19.
I will let you interpret how you'd like to use this 19.
Mm-hmm.
Because successfully with a religious role, this would allow you to have a more keen answer and what you would usually pull from in your own experience and or at least your own doctrination of what you have been taught to say in these times and the natural response that would come. But so much has happened in between then and now that this is an opportunity for you to be more in tune with what maybe Mira is actually feeling on a more spiritual level.
Mm-hmm. What? No, she's going to be honest at this time because, Doc, when you actually got within 5 feet of Mira, you found that your anxiety worsened until you spoke to her and it sort of pulled back. It was like waves of emotion radiating from someone who's usually so composed that you don't even see a drop of what could possibly be wrong. But in that moment, there was a crack, and you appeared just at that time. But it's now since been pulled back as all of her attention is on you, and she says, for most of my life, I've always had figures more learned than I. More holy, I guess you could say, that I went to for guidance, but one is no longer around. One is also not of much use, and one we find out has betrayed us all. So, it's in these times, Davenport, I find that it's best to look to the others who've stood by you when you feel lost. Who can pull you adrift? Is it the people you hardly know, but stand in front of the clergy to preach about words they themselves barely understand? Or is it your companions who fought alongside you, who have their own motivations, who have their own drive, who can take your hand and pull you along?
Doc kind of takes a minute to soak that timeless wisdom like from the top and he feels it from the top of his head and it just kind of warms him with this he went to talk to you for relief and even though this isn't quite what he was looking for he still feels lift off his shoulders and he feels that strength inside him that he was worried wasn't ever gonna light again spark the first embers of when he was a young man and he was, strong in his youth and he felt like he could do anything. And he looks at fire at everyone else who's doing their own thing. Silas working on what he's working on, Ivara shuffling her cards, Ellen walking around, Evan standing off to the side, Alfie throwing things out of his bag, and for the first time he feels reassured that everything will turn out okay. They just need to stick together. Kind of very deeply bows his head to you and goes, "Thank you, Sister Mary. I mean, that wasn't something they might let you say from the pulpit necessarily, but I think it's what my soul was thirsty to hear. That really quenched my worries there, so I thank you.
Thank you for your
I'll
vulnerability.
let you in. Of course, we all gotta kind of stick together now. Didn't you say that? We all gotta make sure to stick together as one unit and move forward if we're gonna get anything done.
She grasps
So
your
I'll
hand and
let
just
you and
gives
Evan get
you
back to it. Thank you. You don't know what those words mean to me. I'll let you and Evan get back to it. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe actually, I've been too worried to actually take a sip from that damn bottle, but I think I might turn in for the night. And I think I might sleep well for the first time in a few days. So I'll leave you ladies to it. Night, y'all. And he'll
Sleep well.
bow one more time and he'll go over to his spot on the fire and you see him kind of slouch, presses, and you see him start nodding off to sleep.
Evan, would you mind giving me a perception check?
Perception.
Perception.
What's the number? That's a number. Okay.
That's a number. Always something you love to say when you. Ooh. Okay.
26.
Yeah, you're definitely going to notice this. So as you're putting stuff together, you being very in tune with nature in general, regardless of the environment, you know when ground is being moved on. And in a way, you've had always like this sense of just knowing who is walking around on the ground and what paths, and you're familiar with everyone's kind of gait and footprints and steps. But you do recognize one coming in from beyond the desert. You hadn't seen this face in particular since they showed up with Silas at the door of another fellow farmer as Bellatrix arrives in nearly covered in her clothes, protecting herself from the desert, but eventually revealing the ghastly face, having had to survive a sandstorm that nearly locked her out of a temple. Welcome, Bellatrix.
Thank you.
You arrive to this party of a few familiar faces who have set up a camp. And you all see, for the most part, a wandering...
I think
individual, and I'll let KJ describe what demeanor Bellatrix is going through right now.
While outwardly clothed and a little bit of her energy seems tired and tattered, she looks otherwise unaffected by a sandstorm that just blew through, and it's a little eerie that she looks almost untouched by such an event. A little tired, but no worse for wear.
The stunned silence of the group as essentially you walking in out of nowhere, but also the awkward realization that the door had been shut on you sweeps over the party at this point.
Just kind of brushes sand off of her clothing, finds a place next to the fire, and just sits down.
Are you alright, Bellatrix? Where have you been? We lost you. Where did you go?
Well, I was outside. Apparently the people did not see me before doors were closed, so, you know, as one does, you find a place to hunker down.
How many times that's happened to me before?
It's happened more often to me than I would like to talk about.
Do you seem physically hurt at all? Mira's sort of going around you, just checking your physicality.
No, not at all.
Ellen will sort of stride over to the fire, completely opposite where Bellatrix is sitting. And she'll just sort of stand shoulder width apart. She'll do that thing where she puts her arms across and her hands under
your
again.
biceps push up a little bit more. Is that what you?
Yep.
That whole
Yep.
row move.
Right.
Posturing up on a halfling.
The paladin posturing.
Yeah.
Just P-pose on her.
And
No.
Bellatrix, well, I understand you've been wandering around out here in the wilderness. Is there anything we could help you with at the moment?
Well, considering you are the only faces that I know and recognize, I'd rather stay with company that I at least know somewhat than with people who might not enjoy my presence.
Seeing as how you said that and not me, I reckon maybe we'll remember our code of conduct rules while you're staying with us.
I make no promises, but I will be civil.
Civil is all I can ask for. And Ellen will just stride back away.
I swear, you two.
I regret nothing.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
What are you
All
gonna
right.
do about it, Michael?
Oh, you'll see. Okay. All right. So, Alfie, would you mind giving me a tinkering tool check to see what we are working with?
Could I?
Yes.
Oh no. Everybody's fingers crossed.
There will be several of these before you get your explosives, just so you know. It's not like, hey, all of a sudden he's got boom boom toys.
We are all gonna die.
A nasty 20. Listen, I am an expert in my
okay.
field, okay? Listen,
Yes.
calm yourself, Ivara.
Yes. And I will say that with this, you
Says the
realize
guy
that
who just blew himself up in the last battle. I'm
technically,
sorry.
yeah, his weapons were used against him. So, I will say that you then have realized that you do have all the minor ingredients, the minimal amount that you need to start
Rising
making
back
to putting your compound 4 together.
Yeah. Once he has it organized in a certain order, everybody will see him just like furiously and meticulously start mixing components together, and just constantly muttering to himself, dash of isotine, a pinch of diactyl. What's that word again? God dang it! Diactyl silicate. Polyisobutylene mineral oil.
I
Minerals.
feel like we
or
need
oil?
closed
Let's go.
captions just for this moment.
Do I have kerosene? Yes, I do have kerosene. I have kerosene. And he's just going. He's getting in it. He's in the zone. He's furiously making compound 4 at this time.
All right. So we are going to set up as everyone's camp is set up. Shifts for the sleep routine. So who would like? I believe that even though Davenport said that they are resting, I will let you all still decide who's going to be doing what shifts and how many in each.
I will say
Ellen
Yvara
will.
probably can't sleep right now, so she'd definitely probably volunteer for first shift.
Okay, so we got Ivara and
We'll do Ivara, and Ellen will insist on there being 2 per shift,
okay.
and she too will want to take first with Ivara.
Right. So as the rest of you rest for the most part, or at least are setting yourselves up for some sort of relaxation. Ivara and Ellen, give me a perception check, please.
Alright.
Evan will be right back.
That'd be a 10 from me.
Okay.
Rolling low as usual.
You got
Doom
things
saw.
on your mind.
I
That would be
do.
a 15
I sure
for
do.
me.
Okay.
I would say Alfie would still be up as well, still working on the compound 4.
If you decide to, you're going to get an exhaustion point. I'm warning you, Mr. I need to work all day and party all night.
It's his MO. He's still going to take a rest, but I would say he would stay with his first watch until.
Oh, what happened? You all right there, Evan?
There's just a giant spider.
Okay, no, Cannon, we hear that sound coming from Evan's tent.
Yeah. Yep, there are spiders in town, so, you know. Either
I'll make
Evan's just
Not
working
spiders.
overtime.
You need to
Tarantulas
call
and
for help.
scorpions.
I'm not gonna, because I have a gigantic fear of large insects, so I'm not gonna talk about it. Anyway.
Hey, so you want to put the camera on the spider?
Nope, don't. I will fire all of you. I will light you on fire. That's what I meant to say. I will light you all on fire. Okay. Oh, God.
I
Oh,
didn't do
God.
anything.
Okay. You know what? Hold on.
Okay.
I need to actually put on combat music for this.
she is having a
Yes,
willful breakout.
Cannon, please, I beg you.
Do it!
Did you get
Kill
it?
it with
And
fire!
the spider goes in for a
Did you
left
do
hook.
good?
Oh, look, it's a right hook in. And it seems Evan's going in with his shoe. Oh, can Evan hit it? Can Evan hit it? I don't know. It seems Evan's down. Oh, shit. The spider has Evan in
no,
the
that
grab.
doesn't look good. Is it gone?
Did we get
Did
it?
you whiff?
Was it a nat 20 on the hit?
Does a shoe hit?
Does the shoe hit? Can you,
Nat
Michael?
20?
Are we good?
Did we get
Very
it?
sorry about that.
Oh,
Yes.
no. It was compelling.
It was Cannon.
Hey, you had a random encounter. You couldn't help it.
Did you get it?
It's about this big.
Nope. All right.
Jeez.
Oh,
Nope. I'm good.
But did you get it?
Did you get it?
Yes, I got it.
Nat 20.
Oh,
For this
Lord,
victory
okay.
motion that Evan has proficiency in improvised weapons, specifically.
Specifically shoes against insects.
so if you check
That was-
D&D Beyond, Evan, there
was
should be
ridiculous.
a chancellor added to your inventory.
Yes. Yeah. You're good with the shoe.
It adds plus 15 psychic damage.
Sweating. Oh, God.
So are we. That was insane. It's rare that in a D&D session you get legitimate monster encounters one of your party members just goes
Michael
rogue.
is that is how much of an immersive DM Michael is. He actually
I
shoots
have-
spiders to everyone.
We're beyond it now. That's insane. All right, so back to
As I was saying,
our
Alfie
fake
would
reality.
be up with the first watch.
Yes, that's fine. So, Ivara and Ellen, you are Alfie's doing his thing, but you've just a quick scope around, and with a 15, you do realize that actually this is a good time right now, and sun has just set. Things are pretty quiet. No foreseeable problems.
No foreseeable problems. That's already no
As the DM puts on the inconspicuous
foreseeable.
lounging music. I see you. I know you're wearing that Hawaiian shirt for a reason, good sir.
Stop. You're giving away my secrets.
We don't trust it.
We know what
don't
happened
trust
last
it at all.
time.
Everything's fine.
I would say Ivara is probably at this point just kind of hanging out by the fire, kind of glancing over occasionally at Alfie to like make sure he's like not setting anything that he shouldn't be on fire, or trying to like, you know, perform tests in the middle of the desert while we're surrounded by rock.
Plus 11 proficiency. I know what I'm doing.
Hey, it doesn't mean that he's not going to let the intrusive thoughts win and decide to set off a grenade for funsies. So like if he has
At some
that
point
feral look
you'll-
in his eye, like Ivara's going to go
I
for
am
it, go
working
in
with
for a
limited
grapple.
material. All right, limited material. I am not wasting shit right now.
At some point, Ellen will just sort of like look over at Alfie, look over at Ivara. Does he not sleep?
Darling,
he
let me tell you,
rest? I told
I'm a
everybody to get some sleep. Why the hell is he still awake?
I don't know what it is that goes on in his little brain of his, but I can tell you, I've been up all hours of the night working the brothel, and he never seems to stop. It's just constant clanking and clinging in that goddamn workshop of his. Don't even get me started on the midnight blow-ups. I don't even know where it's coming from. All I hear is just boom, and then like that's it. That's it. It's absolutely horrifying.
That's ridiculous. Well, I tell you what, as long as he gets us through that damn mountain, that's all I care. That's all I care about. But if that fool exhausts himself to the point where he doesn't get us where we need to go, I'm gonna strangle his ass myself.
Don't worry,
She
Ellen.
sort of
If
kicks
worse-
the dirt and turns around in circles.
Don't worry, Ellen. If worse comes to worse, I'll just grab that big ass wrench he has over there, and I'll just whack him on the head and make sure he's out for a couple hours.
These are tongs, you buffoon! Tongs!
No respect for the waking.
You just see like Ivara just rolls her eyes, like they're almost rolling in the back of her head because she is just like this maniac is gonna get us fucking killed. He already blew himself
Perception
up.
check.
How far away are we from Alfie? Like, how loud did Alfie just yell?
Alfie has stationed himself at a safe distance because at least he knows not to blow up his party members. So he has stationed himself enough away where he's not a
Would
nuisance.
you say, like, when we heard that, does it sound like a booming Alfie voice, or like
No,
like that?
I feel like it's more like a, oh god, there he goes again.
All right, Ellen will
Incoherent
remain here
Alfie
then.
noises are-
That being said, Ellen will refrain from
incoherent
walking up to Alfie and smacking him in the head.
Honestly, I'd be terrified to even smack him anywhere near where he's working on, because you know if anything touches it, it's gonna blow up.
Ivara, you feeling any better yet? You work any of them nerves off?
Darling, I always got nerves, but the thing is, I got other people I got to worry about that are right now in a town that seems to be on fire. But the question is for you, how are you doing? Like, you just kind of were dust in the wind, and the next thing you know, you're back here again. It rhymed. But Hey, are you absolutely sure that you're okay after all that's happened? You're not shaken up by the fact that I don't know, we're dead for a good bit?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking about this with Silas not that long ago. Earlier today. I've had some awfully violent flashbacks sometimes. Stuff I've only got bits and pieces of, but always manages to be something disturbing. I don't think anything's ever rocked me like getting turned to dust. I'll put it that way. Definitely don't
Well,
care to do
darling,
it again.
whatever's going on in that head of yours, I always have an ear available for you if you need it.
Ellen will kind of like pace around a little bit. She's been looking at her boots a lot. She'll look up at the sky. I just can't help but feel like the moment I took that badge from Brass, everything just went straight to hell.
Nah, darling. The place was already on a freaking landslide to hell. You just happened to get the badge on the ride down. Now, I know you got a lot of shit you gotta clean up that technically isn't something you really started, but we know that with that badge on you, you damn well need to finish it. But you gotta remember, you ain't alone in this. You got people here who care about this town just as much as you do, and would be willing to risk life and limb for it as well.
Yeah, that's just it, though. I'm pretty sure we've got no choice but to do just that. All of my flashbacks you see are clearly war.
Wars?
Wars
What do you
I've
mean by
been
that?
in. Times where I was someone else. Times where I did something else and, well, I reckon from the way this smells, I don't know, if I heard something about the wind. I recognize it. It's what it smells like before war. It's what it feels like before a fight. And I just can't help but feel like if I had done a better job, maybe I wouldn't be sending this hole. And she'll just sort of gesture at everybody who's sleeping. Maybe I could have kept them from running straight into all this. Hell, if Brass had been allowed to stay, maybe it never would have even gotten this far. He seems to know what he's doing a hell of a lot better than I do. But she'll just sort of take a deep breath. I'll be fine. I'm always fine, and I made Brass a promise. I'm just gonna have to stick to it. One way or another. I just hope that if anybody's got to make a sacrifice to keep it, it's only me.
Yvara just kind of chuckles to herself, hearing Ellen talk about how feeling like she was a different person and realizing that there are times where she doesn't quite remember who she is, and she just kind of looks over at her and she goes, "The crazy thing about life, no matter how long you live it, if you think about it, we're all really different people all in one body. We start off as kids and we're selfish and we grow, and then we end up becoming the adults we are. But even as young adults, we're still constantly learning and growing. We're constantly changing who we are as people. We sometimes live lives and then we have to leave those lives and go on and live another one in another town and start over. Just because that you were a different person back then, it doesn't mean that you can't change who you are now. So don't let your past mistakes define who you are and what you can do for us and for yourself and for this town. Don't let what you were in the past hold back what you are capable of here in the future. So you need to do me a favor and do yourself a favor and this whole town a favor and give yourself credit, because you've come a long way. Because you could have either ended up 6 feet under or in some hellscape causing hell for other people, but instead you now, in this now, decided to protect this town and took that promise from Brass. You didn't have to, but you did. So, as far as I'm concerned, the only one who's second-guessing yourself here is you. Not me, not this town who looks up to you. You. And I know Brass believes in you because he wouldn't have handed you that golden star right there if he didn't. So the person you are now is who I believe in, Ellen. But do you believe in Ellen?
I think I could. There's one person I need to see. There's one person I need to get to. I reckon if I can make things right with her, I can make things right with anything. That's what I think.
Well, you're already taking the first step to making things right. So if anything, you're on the right track, and you got a whole team to back you up with it. We're going to find Delilah, we're going to bring her back home, and we're going to take back our home.
Yeah. You're right. Here I am getting down the dumps. Time like this. Won't do us no good. No way.
Hey, it's all right to be down in the dumps sometimes. It's all right to be upset, and especially considering the situation. We aren't expected to sit here and take the full front of it. But the thing is, you don't have to, Ellen. Like I said, you ain't alone in this, so make sure you don't keep yourself in your own head all the time. You can't figure this out by yourself. We figure it out together.
I'm still getting used to that. Not being on my own. Did that for a long time, actually. Didn't stay in any place too damn long, and the last good friends I had, I haven't seen in years. They're the ones who got me going and on my way. I just wonder. She'll look at the mountains. That damn dwarf better be able to get us through there. That's all I got to say. Some way we're punching through that damn mountain range.
Ellen, if you could
crazy as
give
he is.
me
Sorry, go
a
ahead.
nature check just before this conversation ends.
Do I have
Well, we'll
Looking up
say
in the sky.
nature +2? $19.
So, with the words that you said, and reflecting back on it and looking up at the sky just before the two of you, and inevitably Alfie, get ready for sleep. You look up at the sky, and what's unsettling is that the stars don't seem as bright as they should be. Maybe it's just the haze from the fire. Maybe it's from the smoke from the far distant mountain range blotting it out, but something about those stars, just like you said, this is a familiar feeling. But inevitably, you will be able to settle yourself down, as will you, Avara and Alfie. And just before our next shift, this is where we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll return with more of this nice little campfire-side adventure. Stay tuned with us, folks, for the next half of Frontiers of Eberron. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks again for watching with us. We truly appreciate when everybody is around. We've got the full cast party here tonight, wherever we are in the world. For some, it's the morning. As you can tell by Dia's sleepy eyes.
It's 3 p.m. Thank you. I was on a night shift, so I didn't sleep until 8 a.m.
Regardless. Just as a heads up, we are back on track with our regular schedule. We had a little bit of on-off going on, but we are going to be back. The next broadcast will be on Wednesday, I believe, for another episode of Dimensional Dial. Or is Tuesday
We have a
going
Legends
to
of the
be...
Shattering, I think.
Is Tuesday going to be...
No,
that's
Tuesday is
next...
4th of July, so I think we said we're
Right.
skipping Legends of the
That's
Shattering
fair.
this week.
So Wednesday will be our
then-
next show, another episode of the Dimensional Dial of Dr. Diago.
It will be
Great.
1 hour later.
Yes,
10 p.m.
that is
Eastern
the
Standard
update.
Time.
We will be 1 hour later than a usual broadcast. Thank you to Matt's boss for allowing also being a nerd. Also, we've got the Tales of the Varden on, I believe, this Friday. I always get lost. It should be this Friday.
Should be this Friday, yes.
Should be this Friday. All right.
Event calendars,
and-
baby.
Yep, that's right. Listen, if everybody didn't have the on-off, we can't always be as consistent as myself and Matt. I say that jokingly. We are the
It's
consistent.
every other. It's not
It's,
that
it's just
hard.
I know. Anyway,
Speaking of
but also
consistent schedule, Sam.
well, yeah, it works. On Saturday nights at 8 p.m. For a good hour and a half, you can catch us talking about what has happened over the past week of episodes on TBD Talks, and we'll also be playing some Jackbox games while we answer your question. So we'll be having fun and joking around and just hanging out and having a good time. So check that out as well. Give us a follow everywhere. And you see on the scrolling little news thing that it's going by, check that out. And also, if you're going to be at Gen Con, so am I. I will see you there in August. I'll be running the Tales of the Valiant. I will not be running, but I will be one of the GMs doing one of the playtests for Tales of the Valiant by Cobalt Press. Please come check it out. It's going to be an amazing game. If you haven't already signed up, or if you're just going to be there, let me know. Find me online there, and you can. We'll get in touch, and I'd love to connect with other wonderful TTRP and RBG enthusiasts like yourselves.
Are we just announcing cons we're going to be to now? Is that
Yeah,
happening?
might as well, right?
September, I will be at Salt Lake City FanX.
Nice.
So
Anyone
if you
else
would
coming
like
up to upcoming cons?
come visit.
No, just
I'm broke as hell.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's only these two cool kids right here that are going to be.
I
Yeah,
was
I
going
guess
to be
so.
going to a convention, but then I got a cat, so
Just incorporate Umbra
Priorities.
into the cosplay.
It happens to the best of us. All right. So, that being said, let us return now to the second shift where Sister Mira and Silas have decided now to
Before they take over,
Oh,
I
of
would
course,
like
there's
to
always
take an
something.
opportunity for Alfie to, for an Alfie moment.
We now pause for an Alfie moment.
This message is brought to you by Alfie. As he's meticulously working with his materials, he starts absent-mindedly calling for his assistant. Chase! Blasted! He's back in. Where much? And
Give
he
me a
goes.
wisdom saving throw.
Oh! Oh no!
You ask for a moment, I deliver.
Oh yeah, wisdom. That's +1. All right,
It's
let's
a
you know,
saving throw.
fingers crossed, guys.
It's a low.
Oh, that's
DC.
not 20.
You're fine. At this
Surprisingly
time,
enough.
you do have one of those just slightly absent-minded moments where, having been in the zone, you call for someone who's not there, even though you're fully aware. It's just matter of habit at this point.
Right. But given that realization, he grabs his tool bag that is currently an alchemist kit and gives it a violent shake, and you can hear glass shattering inside of it, and it soon turns to clinking. Clink, 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 clink. And he pulls out tinkering tools and begins to work on a quick little timer, if you will, to keep the components going for a little bit before he has to wake up to turn off the burner and keep it from overheating.
Give me a tinkering check.
All right.
So it's your proficiency bonus. Plus
Which
intelligence.
is expertise.
Yeah.
19. Look at that.
You're fine.
All right. So he'll set that little timer. You'll crank it up to the amount of time that these chemical components need to boil before he needs to turn off the burner and let it cool. And then he curls up underneath his makeshift desk with Thumper, his grenade launching tube, and goes down for his rest.
So, Sister Mira and Silas, if you two wouldn't mind giving me a perception check.
It's a dirty 20.
1 second.
Yes, we are all hearing the sounds of the Kit Kat.
I'm sorry.
No, we love it. We love it.
Don't apologize for that.
Dude,
It's
not
14 plus 7.
Welcome
I think that's a
to
21.
Uh,
21?
Cool. From what you see, what you actually are able to notice first is just far off in the distance, you do see a plume of dust that is being trailed behind a group of wild horses that is just running across the far side of the desert. But no danger.
Mira was not sleeping very well, so normally she would volunteer to take the last watch because she often wakes up early regardless. But in this case, she's just wordlessly taken over before Ivara tapped her on the shoulder to sort of urge her to go get some rest. And she sits herself just outside the campfire light because, as a Kalashtar, she does not have dark vision. And she visibly looks still as a statue. On passing glance, it doesn't look like there's anything really going on. But if anyone were to walk within 35 feet, which is half her usual mind link of her, they will get slammed with an absolute sucker punch of this roiling anxiety and guilt that sits in the pit of one's stomach that would make any normal person keel over. But she doesn't show that. And where you see her fingers sort of just resting on the sands, the same wave sort of flickers of energy were coalescing into this odd form of a sword when they were just about to step through the portal after the party fought the Lord of Blades. So the sparks of magic have sort of turned some of the sand to like little shards of glass, which she then brushes away. But then they reform again under her hands and she just brushes those away again. Normally when she's like this, she would meditate, but because her attention is fixated on keeping watch, it's all the intrusive thoughts.
I do like that your description was basically, hey Matt, do you want to set off this mine, or do you not want to? Canonically speaking.
It's the two who hide their shit. That's what this checks out.
Yeah. So Silas also, everybody knows Silas doesn't sleep. That's why he has a caffeine addiction. He had been finishing up, making sure that his chain shirt that was wrecked is still functional, which it is because he does good work. He's kind of He's kind of trying to, like, as he's making his way through camp, he's trying to stow the chain shirt as best as he can. And he'll definitely notice that Mira is awake. Given that in his own moments that he's been having all day, he's not exactly in the most talkative mood either. He just kind of like do a little like note she's there and keep walking. And that's when he is just hit with this sudden wave of anxiety, which is compounding on his own anxiety.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Aha. Aha, aha, aha.
Your DC is 15.
Okay. I have a +5. Let's see. What do we
College
have?
stars are fun.
Hey, that's a 17.
Ooh.
You just barely keep the vomit down. You know, when anxiety gets so bad, you just get the somatic feelings and you just gotta spew. You keep it down.
So, depending on how cognizant Mira is at the moment, Silas would kind of just be walking and then just kind of stop and take a few steps back and take a deep breath. And sort of like, because he's the kind that like figures things out, he would then kind of like do a few steps back and forth, like trying to figure out where it's coming from, and then go, Sister Mary, you feeling all right?
You get nothing for a few moments before you get a quiet, I'm so sorry. And you would get the impression that she's not actually apologizing for what you just experienced now.
Well, Mira, I'm having trouble figuring out what you would have to be sorry for in this moment.
In my efforts to avoid risking the rest of you, I feel as if I've abandoned you instead. And for that, I am sorry.
Bullshit.
Pardon?
You heard me. I said bullshit. You tried way better than anybody else in there to make sure we all got out alive by making sure that the entire situation didn't happen. Wise man once said, best block is no get hit. So if you were successful, if this were any other moment other than this twisted game that some built divine creation of tomfuckery had to put together, we all would have walked out of there easy peasy. But no, somebody decided to just have their own little fun with a couple people who's just trying to get back home.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Ross did have a point though, there's just no winning with some people. And the embarrassing thing is, I have the capabilities to fight. My kind are trained in martial skills, but I just choose not to employ them. And I wonder how long we could have kept fighting for if maybe we had another on the field to join you. At least we're past that now. Are you alright? You look a bit pale.
Roll insight.
Oh, sorry, ignore that.
Oh, I rolled low. You gotta beat a 14.
That was 30, 20.
Silas says he's fine, but you don't have to read his mind to know that that's bullshit in this moment.
In your words, bullshit.
Well, I guess you'd win that hand of poker.
I've been in your mind, Silas, for as much you don't care to voice to others, and I respect that. I didn't pry any more than you wanted me to, but in this moment, it's quite clear on your, not on your face, but it reads in your eyes.
Silas is going to take that moment, just kind of look down, just nod, like sort of a moment of acceptance. Then he's going to sit across the fire from Mira. That was not the first time that I have seen the Lord of Blades kill somebody.
Is that right? How long ago?
About, I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but like about a year ago, year and a half ago.
It would have been prior to the war, so it's this is 3
Oh yeah,
years
before the
since
day
the
of mourning.
treaty,
Yeah.
so it's about 5 years ago.
Okay, so about well, 5 years ago. Yeah, it was a little bit before that old day of mourning happened, and the world went to shit for a little bit. I was in a position to stop that one from happening. These ones I tried. But the last time I ran. And I've been running ever since.
It seems he caught up to you, in a sense. But again, you got away. And that's something to be thankful for.
Well, part of me still believes that wasn't actually him. Because why would he be there? But, that's just me, pretending that this here hat's made out of tin. So, I'm tired of running.
Well, suppose that makes both of us. Michael, remind me, when we were fighting the Lord of Blades, did we get the impression that it was like a projection of sorts, like his essence, not really the Lord himself?
Honestly, none of you have actually spoken about that. But in the moment, it felt as real as it possibly could have. And the thing that's been kind of also quietly swept under the rug is the fact that it came from a party member's arm who has yet to return.
I think there's a few words to be had with Hokosh when we find him, which we will do. He will return to us, considering it was his limb from which that creature came from.
I had the assumption that was more happenstance than anything. I mean, we were all asked the same question of, what do we fear? And then it took from, oh gosh. I mean, there's a good chance that if it took my answer, it still would have been the Lord of Blades. But who's to say that would be the case for yourself, or Ellen, or Ivara? Not quite sure why Hokosh would have that fear, especially since he don't remember too much.
That's the big question mark, isn't it? If you don't know, then really anything could happen and you wouldn't be any wiser.
Yeah.
You're a man of means, Silas. I don't suppose if we were to encounter any more rough types, which I have no doubt in the world we absolutely will, do you have anything by ways of protection or weaponry that you no longer carry upon you or you could create? As I said, I have the capabilities to defend myself, but at the moment I lack the resources with which to do so.
I got you. Well, I mean, I did just put back together this chain shirt that I was wearing. It's in good working order. If I was back in Wormwatch, I could actually get those scorch marks out so that it doesn't look like it adds scratches. But if I was selling it to somebody, I'd say it adds character. Yeah, you're welcome to it. I don't think that I'm going to be needing it anymore.
Thank you. I think I will take that off your hands. It is a chain shirt on Silas. It's a chain dress on Mira.
Silas isn't crazy tall. He's like, I think I said that he was like 5'10" or 5'11". I didn't write it down. But yeah, something like that. So
Yeah, Mira's 5'4". I stand by what I said. So she will take it off your hands. One less thing for you to carry.
Well, I mean, no worries. I do got this, which if you are really starving for something to put a hurting on somebody if they get too close, and he'll bend down and flip out of his boot a dagger that he has and hold it handle forward towards Mira.
She takes the dagger. You can see her sort of checking the weight. And then she twirls it in her fingers, chucks it up, catches it handle first. This will serve well as well.
I mean, you'll probably get more use out of it than I did. I mostly used it as like utility and stuff. Actually, he'll use mending to like sharpen the blade as it's been dull from whittling wood. He's getting the edge back on it.
It's also tucked away in her boot. It's a good sturdy thing.
Can I get a... I'm not sure. How do I want to do this?
How do you want to do this, Michael?
Well, you know what it is? There is something about your heritage that is unique in times of emotional connection. Is this... Are you keeping things close to the chest at this point?
So it's interesting because visibly she seems perfectly fine, but you can feel the projection of emotion in a physical sense. Like at this moment where Sals is sitting, Sals feels exactly what she's feeling, just by nature of how in this moment she's not quite in control of keeping the feelings themselves so close that it's not impacting other people.
I'd like you to roll deception, and I'd like you, Silas, to roll insight.
Can I apply my gambler background to this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
That forgot to be hidden, but I mean...
It's okay. It's
okay. You won by a lot. I only got an 11.
Yeah, you are stone cold.
That's a 24.
And Silas, it's an impressive sight. The words don't quite seem to match with the vibe, but yet you believe that Mira is laser focused.
If I may, I'll kind of interpret this as like, much like Silas is right now, that he feels like he's got it handled. Mira feels like she's got it handled, but neither of them do.
Yep.
And
This is the way.
with that, normally in those moments, Silas would bury himself in making something, take his mind off of whatever it is. He's not sure if Mira can do that, so he's going to reach into his bag. Sister, you ever play cards?
A handful of times back in Shan.
He starts shuffling the deck and just goes, "Oh, we're on watch for a little bit. How about we play a few hands?"
All right. You have my word, I'll stay out of your mind, just to keep things fair.
Well, we'll see if you need to level the playing field after a few hands.
So here's how we'll do this. We're going to base this off percentile. So the higher percentile will have the more games won. So it'll be a D100 roll versus a D100 roll.
Oh, I have to roll both die. But,
Yeah, so you can choose the 10 and the 2d10s.
Oh, I'm fine. I swore that rolled a 20, but then like the actual dice table cleared.
So that is a percentile natural 1 for me.
I saw that.
Is
And I
it 1
wasn't
or is it
sure-
100?
No,
I got the 00
it
and then
was
a
a
1.
1.
Yeah.
So that
You need
is
the
a
three
first
zeros
for
for
me, as
100.
far as I've seen. Okay. Yeah, Mira's surprisingly good.
Picking his luck.
After a few hands, like Silas just kind of furrows his brow and shuffles the deck again. Like, something's going on here.
So as you finish up your games, who will be taking then the third and final shift? That is left is Bellatrix,
will.
Davenport, and Evan.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay,
Bellatrix will.
gotcha. So you three are awoken by Mira and Silas. The three of you have the least familiarity with each other.
Yep.
So right now, the only noise that's accompanying the three of you is crickets.
Oh,
But it's a beautiful night sky. Could the three of you give me perception checks?
Yes, sir. Where's my D20?
Get away from the Kalish Star music and go to...
what do you
23.
do?
Ooh, okay.
So, where the
Yeah, so, the only thing
gets
that
past us?
is noticed immediately is just, this is definitely going to be the coldest point of the night in the desert, as the temperature just does feel like there is a sudden shift of dropping, just enough to be noticeable. But other than that, no danger.
Bellatrix is just sitting next to the fire, keeping warm, and even like makes a little rig to like brew some tea.
Okay.
I think Evan
Doc
is.
might come over after kind of peering off into the distance with his scarf kind of pulled up. He's gonna hear you clanging about setting something up, and he's gonna kind of go, well, you know, maybe a cup of tea would be quite nice. So he goes on over, sits down. First, he doesn't say anything, but he kind of goes, I got coffee beans. You brew coffee in this thing?
I would
or just
think we
tea?
should I think we should leave the coffee beans for when
That's,
man over
you know what?
there
I'll-
wakes up. I've noticed he has a thing for coffee.
That's fair.
I
Evan,
have-
I'm gonna call out Evan. Want a cup of tea? Maybe?
Evan is busying herself, like breaking branches off to stoke the fire of trees, but then you just hear apologies, and she druid crafts. So like the branch starts to grow just like a little sprout again.
Aww.
It's like just
Oh, no, that's just
Sorry.
so precious. You see that? Oh, that was cute. Oh, tea or no tea?
tea, I guess.
Would you like a cup of tea?
3 cups of tea.
I like a more
Sorry to put
natural...
it randomly, but
You can take
I like-
the dock out of the brothel, but you can't take the brothel
Take
out
the
of the
ruffle
dock.
out of the dock. Absolutely.
Lord.
no.
Bellatrix just brews some tea that is a special like mix that she makes specific to helping her stay awake, because coffee's never been a good thing for her. So tea is her natural alternative, and you can collect the herb.
I need con saves then from Davenport and Evan.
Oh, no.
Bellatrix, what is your
Con
constitution
save?
normally?
My constitution currently normally?
Yeah.
17 plus 3.
All right. 17 is the DC.
Hold on.
Don't look at me like that, Matt.
Okay.
What kind of question is
Hold
that?
on. Trying to. It won't let me
Is
add
your
4, so I'm just gonna
constitution
roll.
It's okay, just do the math.
Ooh! 18 plus 4. So
And what was
22.
yours, Evan?
15.
Okay, so Davenport, you do realize, ooh, that's got a bite to it, but it's not bad. Evan,
Ooh. Whoa.
holy crap, it is like swallowing
Oh,
something
knocked
that
my
maybe...
boots off and hit me inside the head. My
Yeah.
God.
Evan, you feel like you've just drank one of Alfie's components.
Oh, not again. Oh.
It'll keep you awake if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm awake. I don't think I can blink. Wow. Okay.
Doc can see noises now.
There's spiders in my skin. Is that normal, Bellatrix? I can
taste my
feel
eyeballs.
spiders in my skin. Oh,
It's not like you
Wow.
just suddenly snorted.
y'all
a
hear
line of
that? I
crack
can
or
hear you
something.
breathing.
Jesus.
I can hear y'all
God.
breathing. Wow. Okay, cool. This works. Yeah.
I can taste the colors with my eyes.
Davenport survived this. Everything that you're describing is probably what Evan should be feeling.
Oh,
Smash face.
then Evan is gonna go
No.
through something horrendous.
Evan, you're gonna get some real volatile jitteriness from this.
No, I'm just saying this is Doc on a success. Imagine if he failed.
I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Bellatrix is just calmly
Who's gonna
sipping
trip
her
sit
cup,
Doc?
just watching everything that's
Alright,
happening unaffected.
Evan takes a sip and then just gently puts the cup down. Miss Bellatrix, is this like a normal for you? Is this what
It
you
works.
It is something that I crafted myself over the years.
It
It's
does
meant to
something.
keep-
I don't know if it works.
It's meant to keep you awake, and that is what it does.
I don't know if
Y'all
I'm ever
think
going to
Alfie
sleep
is
again.
problematic.
If it makes you feel better, all of the ingredients and materials in this tea are all natural remedies, so nothing artificial.
Bellatrix lures you in with a cup of lies. At least you know what you're about to drink.
Bellatrix,
with
this
Alfie.
is. I
Yeah,
got
shut up.
palpitations, Bellatrix. I got palpitations.
You're going to feel which is
yeah.
the goal.
Gonna live.
Give it like 15 minutes, you'll be fine.
Cool. That's gonna be the longest 15 minutes of my life.
Arena, we gotta teach you what it means to save a constitution.
Yeah.
Because this is weird.
This is not it.
It's hilarious, and I kind of love it. I really do.
I gotta start failing things. Like I
You're
gotta start rolling twos.
failing upwards.
Bellatrix, as she's sipping, she'll just like set down her cup and look up at Davenport and just ask, "So what happened while I was locked outside in a sandstorm? Because apparently, you all look like shit, and I don't know what you got yourselves into while I was gone."
Oh, well, there was a giant
Can't talk about it.
fuck off metal man, and he killed most of us. We turned to dust, and then we came back, and it was fine. And then the deceased
Oh yes, we died. We died, Bellatrix. It was awful. Awful.
Oh my god.
Evan, I just want to take a moment. That was stunning. It was stunning.
Oh my God.
We died, but we survived.
Bellatrix will just look at both of you weird and say, "Coming from experience, death is normally a one-way street. Unless you have a cleric of high power. But looking at, like, making eye contact with Davenport, I haven't seen that kind of power from you, so."
Well, I think somebody just spilt that tea.
Would you care to
We died but lived. It was amazing. Would not recommend.
You do one or the other. They're not the thing that happened at the same time unless you have a cleric of a high enough level that can bring you back. Or druids, because they do it too. That's just not my purview.
I wish I knew.
I wish what I said made any more sense than it obviously did not. But what I'm saying to you is, it attacked me. It attacked Ellen. Ellen turned to dust, and then I think I died. I don't know. There's a gap of time where I'm there, and then I'm not, and then I'm back. So I don't know what happened in the in between. But then the sheriff was there, and I'm pretty sure he died.
I'm sorry. This is so good.
And
the sheriff was there, and I'm pretty sure he's been dead for a little while, but somehow we were talking to him. So
I don't know what sheriff you're talking about, other than the one that you call Sheriff Ellen over there. So,
well, no,
Sheriff Brass. He died, but we saw him. It was very confusing stuff. Wow. You sure that this is just tea? My eyes are starting to hurt. They're drying out. I don't know what to do.
It's just tea, I can assure you.
Oh my god. We saw Sheriff Brass. He was dead.
As they poorly describe the events of what transpired, can you give me Bellatrix an Arcana check at disadvantage because of the
at disadvantage?
Because of the way it's been described?
While people are rolling things, I just want to say, have people seen the Olaf Presents on Disney Plus?
Absolutely, that's exactly what's happening.
We need an Evan Presents for everything on this channel.
Those dice are huge. Rolling that.
That would be... numbers. 34.
Okay. So, in spite of the bits and pieces that you were able to gather from this, you are aware that in certain religious rituals in temples, there are kind of like these spirit journey tests that tend to happen. And for the most part, as strange and, fantastical as this may be, you err on the side of caution as to how much of it they are speaking being truth and indulge them a bit. But you also are aware that to have some sort of test like this is not fairly uncommon with a lot of druidic sects, including ones that you happen to follow.
She just kind of listens to what you're saying, looking skeptical at certain bits, but just
I ain't even
nods.
told you about the visions yet, the conspiracy that is apparently going on.
Visions are not surprising for me, especially because temples typically is determined by how you look, will have spiritual journeys and guides. So I'm assuming that is what happens, a trial of some kind.
I mean, sure, if that's what you want to call it, then that's fine. Personally, I don't know why I was involved in this trial. I still
Wrong
don't know
place,
why I'm
wrong
here.
time is what I'm assuming.
I mean, it feels like a very wrong place for me to be in. But no, apparently there's some conspiracy with this Eleanor Vate lady, the lady that's doing the mining stuff, and there's vampires involved, and she might be possessed by someone,
Hold
some
on.
other undead person. I don't know.
Vampires?
Yes.
And you see this dark look enter her eyes.
Oh, that's not good.
By the way, I will be personally sending Keith Baker, the creator of this world, the clip of and requesting that Lord of Blades formally be called from now on the Fuck Off Metal Man.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I want that as an
Metal Man.
official alias. The dreaded
God.
Lord of Blades, or as in some circles known, the Fuck Off Metal Man.
Just edit the wiki page.
Yeah.
Just edit the Bellatrix, Bellatrix's face like darkens when you mention vampires, and you can tell there's bad blood.
So to speak.
Yes.
How dark is it?
We all turned into the Joe Husky at that point.
No.
But yeah, no, so I don't know what was in this tea, but I feel like my heart is gonna like come out of my chest. It's just gonna.
My fingernails are growing so fast. Oh my god.
The
You
party's first
fine.
ayahuasca trap.
You'll
Jesus
be
Christ.
fine. You'll be fine.
My skeleton's gonna hatch, Bellatrix.
I mean, I'm gonna
Devin-
listen to you because
Devin-
I don't have anything else to go off of. But
Bellatrix will just move over to Davenport and put both of her hands on his shoulder and say, breathe. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. No.
I'm just inhaling.
Slowly. And we'll start like trying to like get you to breathe really hard.
Do you see the shadows, Bellatrix? They're on the outskirts of the forest, Bellatrix.
The shadows are
They're
your
coming
friends.
closer.
The shadows are your friends. Okay, they're here to help and
Oh,
comfort you.
okay. Okay, if you say so, Bellatrix. I trust anything you say after giving me this demon tea. Yeah. Continue.
I should have known. I should have known
Nina
from the moment I
saved
felt.
on the roll. I still don't understand. She saved on the roll.
Just imagine if I
This
had
is
it.
who Davenport
I don't
is.
know.
Alcohol doesn't affect
This is
him.
who Davenport.
Does Dak Davenport come down from that psychotic tea? Find out next time on the next episode of
Coming hell.
Frontiers of Eberron.
And we'll
Anyway,
just like
Continue.
try to get him to breathe slowly and calm him down.
so
I'm so calm.
as this
Go
conversation
on.
continues, and you gather what you gather, Bellatrix, from these two individuals who, for any other reason, have the most outsider opinion out of everything that's going on.
Absolutely not helpful. It's great.
Not in the slightest. But morning comes, and eventually you're all able to gather around together for deciding what your next step will be. So, as Bellatrix and Davenport and Evan, you finally are able to not crash, but eventually come down. Bellatrix, you're fine. This is nothing to you.
This is nothing.
Evan, you're cool now. You're okay.
Yeah.
But I will say that you're getting a point of inspiration for that entire the two of you. No, like the two of you are getting 1 point each because that was inspired. That was beautiful. So hold on to those. The sun has risen, and it is another a day. In fact, you're actually not really sure what day it is, but you do know that not too far, the mountains are awaiting your impending arrival with an ally inside somewhere. And as all of you gather around the fire, we begin to figure out what the next move will be.
As
So-
everyone's waking up, Bellatrix
Yep.
is offering the tea and has started brewing coffee for Silas.
No.
Don't drink it! Don't drink it! No!
Question. Since Ivara herself is rather like known in like herbs and stuff, would she have advantage on a saving throw?
If you decide
No!
to partake in it, I would
If you
say so,
decide
yes.
to drink it.
Ivara, no!
Most important.
Davenport didn't have such a fun time with it. Apparently, his system is a little
Don't do
weaker
it.
when it comes to natural
Don't
remedies.
do it!
Most important question.
My blood
at
feels
the
so-
moment.
Yes, Alfie.
How much compound 4 was Alfie able to create in order for us to all get inside the mountain that we need to get into?
Roll a d4.
It's tea, right? It's not alcoholic, but it's like
No,
Be-
it's just tea.
okay. Mira will try it because new experiences are important.
All right. So before we all start getting crazy, let me just settle some business.
Start.
D4. This is how many pounds you created.
All right. Just 1d4, correct?
1d4.
That's going to be 3.
There you go. You have three, essentially 3 pieces, the equivalent to that we established mechanically together.
Sweet. Thank you. Okay.
Raise
You
your
can all
hand if you're
continue.
drinking the tea. Mira.
Despite
Okay.
Davenport
Ivara.
freaking out, Ivara is just gonna kind of be like,
Davenport freaks out over everything. It's fine.
Ivara, con save with advantage. Mira, regular con save.
Ellen will be drinking coffee with Silas. She's a simple woman.
It's still brewing the
problem.
coffee.
Yes.
That's in
The doc is screaming. No! Don't drink it! No!
Doc is having an
Don't trust
existential
her.
breakdown. What was that, Mira?
17.
17? You're okay. Ivara?
It's tea, Doc. What are you
"There'll be
talking
a
about?
tea."
Good for you.
Perfect. Meets it, beats it, and one beats it ahead. So you do recognize, ooh, there's a little bite to that, but that's not bad.
I gotta say, Bellatrix, is that your name? No, I don't know why I went British there for a second.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
like he's actually
who
he's
just-
talking.
who just showed up?
My bad.
Is this the real Ivara?
Possessed.
Bellatrix, that's your name, right?
It is.
This tea is very interesting. You're gonna have to give me the recipe sometime, all right?
This tea
Well, it
changing
is a mix
everything.
of my own, so
Pardon?
it is a mix of my own, so
Well, I'd love to have the recipe sometime, darling, if you're willing to give it, that is.
of course. Anyone who's willing to have it, I will give it. I don't often get to share my things. I will
quite
warn
nice.
you, because of Davenport overreacting, the bites you feel in it, it's to help wake you up and make you more attentive and alertive. He
I
had
can't
that
feel my
reaction.
legs! Don't drink it!
Oh,
You're fine,
darling,
Davenport.
Davenport.
10 hours
uh,
later,
he
still
doesn't
freaking out.
always still have wire. Why do you think he's at the brothel all the time? That man is needed to unwind on a constant daily basis. He's so wound
Yeah.
tight.
Davenport can't hold their shit. Jesus.
It's fine.
He's
it's
freaking
just
out.
tea. The recipe is a
I think it's just a
little
mental thing at
early.
this point.
Yeah, I'm like,
12
man.
hours later.
Little
Davenport
nightshade.
needs certain long-acting clonazepam.
Nightshade. There is some
Some
like
anti-anxiety for you. I'm just thinking. I'm
Alright,
being realistic.
Wrangle it up, Posse.
Some
So,
lithium,
coffee
maybe.
done
Mood
before 2 cups
stabilizer.
of coffee for Silas and for Ellen.
I need Alfie and Ellen to give me survival check.
Mhm.
As
Oh,
you
boy.
are still leading this group out.
All right. Let's do that. with the vintage is stone cunning, my dear.
I am no deer.
17.
Survival's a +1.
And I figured out how to add the modifier.
Hey, look at that! All right.
Although I will say that every time my wife asks, like, "Hun, will you be a deer?" I go, because I am a dork through and through.
I am a man, not a deer.
All right, so with camp gathered, the two of you are able to head towards the best natural path towards what you, Alfie, can know of a natural cavernous opening. And as you're all walking, let's just have a collective perception check.
Guidance.
I will also cast guidance on myself.
Also cast.
Perception, you said?
Yes.
Wow. What's my roll? 26.
Whoa. All right. Here, we'll make this easier. If you got above 15, raise your hand.
Let me roll my
So loading.
d4. Ah, shit.
Is it 15
Someone
and
threw a
above or
D4
above
in
15?
there.
Because guidance. They were
Oh,
guidancing
right,
themselves.
Guidance. Mine
So many
will
dice.
not load.
21
So
for
many
Alfie.
dice rolls.
Look at that.
So many.
I will say then,
Druids,
Okay, just
clerics,
real quick,
artificers,
again.
Witches.
above 15? Only two of you? Wow, okay.
Wow.
I'm above 15 as well.
Oh, okay. So for those of you who got above 15, you will spot along the way a broken down carriage. It is a wagon that is covered. It seems to have been kind of abandoned. There are some crates in there that look to be opened, just kind of haphazardly left behind. No sign of any sort of settlers there or any sort of, there's no dead bodies or anything like that. It just seems to be an abandoned cart.
May
It sounded like two farm animals just then. Just
Alfie would start taking minor components away from the cart, bolts, nuts, things that he might think would be useful for him, and whatnot. So busting out the tinker tools, starts unscrewing some
so
things.
basically, you're just stripping this thing down for parts. Okay.
Bare
I
components.
roll a vibe check?
Leaves it up on cinder blocks.
Vibe check.
I mean, this is standard for him, so you're kind of aware.
No, I'm not talking about on Alfie. I'm talking
Oh,
about
on the
this
cart. Okay.
situation in general.
Okay, sure.
Kind of on the same
Give me.
plane.
You can give me an investigation check if you'd like
Investigation.
on this-
I can do.
for anything out of the ordinary, essentially. And if you'd like to
Investigation,
help
say?
Bellatrix, you can.
No, mine's a slightly different question.
Oh, then
Route.
yes.
She's vibe checking. I want to see if there's anything that looks somewhat important that was left behind, or if there's tracks to where the people who have been in this cart are leading.
Ah, okay.
That
Then you can
would
give me
be
survival
a
on that one.
dirty 20.
Okay. So it does seem like it was kind of a leftover. Maybe it was just like the dead weight of a caravan that they just realized, oh, okay, there's nothing really, like, we don't need this particular cart. You haven't really looked through any of the boxes or anything inside, but you could just tell from the outside and just from an overall looking of it, this particular wagon was just left behind.
It's an 18.
Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any signs of a struggle or anything like that, like anyone
No.
leaving in a panic. Okay.
No, it's like a used car that someone left on the side of the highway.
Okay.
With an 18 Bellatrix, you do see that the path is in the opposite direction of where they're headed. I'm not sure whose that is. Yeah. Sorry, got thrown up. Yeah, you do see that the trail of where this wagon was being taken from is away from the mountains, whereas you are heading towards them. Alfie, though, if you could give me an investigation check as you're rummaging through.
I got you, mate. Un momento, por favor. Investigation, that's a +8. Look at that. Aren't you an investigative type little friend? I can't read what that number is, but that's a 21.
Oh, okay. So you're moving through it, and you find in one piece there's like a small bag, and it does have some like spare parts. It seems like stuff that would be used to replace knobs or nuts and bolts on a wagon wheel. But as you're looking through it, you do find a ring. It is, you would know, this is mithril. It's delicate. It has like a square cut quartz pendant on it, and engraved on it is the phrase "for my other half."
Oh, it's a wedding ring. Alfie pockets it. Ooh, this might be useful to melt down into sling bullet. I could use it as a sling bullet. That's a possibility. Or we could use it as one of the components into the compound 4. And he just pockets it real quick, along with the rest of the bolts and nuts that he found. And once he strips this fucking wagon down to its bare skeleton, he treks on.
Can you give me an Arcana check real quick? Knowing that with your mineral background, knowing that mithril does tend to have some magical properties to it sometimes.
Oh, that's a 12.
It's hard to figure out exactly what, but you do get a sense that there is some magical energy to this. Something that would have to be more defined with like an identify spell or someone who has
the spell that I just got rid of.
a more attuned sense to the arcane at the moment. Should you decide. All right. Is anyone else looking in this wagon?
I would say Yvara's
sure, why
probably
not?
just looking around here and there, just trying to see if there's anything worth value.
Okay. Give me an investigation check again.
Mira will
And
follow
Doc,
Ivara
maybe look
because
around the wagon and
wagon-
see if there's like. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, you go first. You go first.
Oh, okay. Doc would like to see if there's any footprints or any kind of trail maybe around the. Tell him what direction these people might have been heading, or where they were knocked off track.
From what you were looking at, and you can see that Bellatrix was looking at that as well, you were able to gather that it is headed. This was headed in the direction away from the mountains, opposite to where you are heading towards.
Okay.
I was just saying that Mira would have gone with Ivara because to her a card is a card, but sure, look around.
Okay, so Ivara, you find a book. It is it looks like a dusty kind of like novella, and it's called "The Clue in Life's Triumph."
Real quick, Alfie still
like a
does have
spell?
detect magic spell that he can use as a ritual. Can he do that while the rest of the party is investigating?
Yes, and I will let you know in a moment. Mira, Ellen, were you doing anything?
I would say Ellen would poke around for good measure, but seeing as how she kind of keeps an eye on everybody, I would say she's mainly sort of keeping track of everyone who looks around it, just remaining skeptical of the whole situation at large.
Can you give me then a just general perception check?
Mira got a 9 when she was looking around after, like following after Ivara, but she doesn't know what she's looking for.
You are very distracted.
Mm.
That's just an 11. because I roll low with Ellen for whatever reason.
It's it's scoping out at this point in the morning. It seems like the sun is reflecting a bit too high off of the desert, and it's
I didn't
giving
have
you
enough coffee, did I?
it's not your eyesight's not quite getting the scope that you want it to be at this time.
I'm grouchy. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, but that's about it. Other than like maybe some rations that it's whatever's not left that's not spoiled, you're able to find. And you continue on. So, as you move forward, you can see that the range is closer now. You, with Alfie's help and with Ellen's guidance and all of you working together at this time, you do inevitably get to an entry point, it seems, in this mountain range. And when you approach it, I'd love for everybody to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
I still have guidance, I think, don't I? Oh god.
How do we roll with advantage on this thingy-majig?
There is a little thing that you can choose when you roll the d20 to roll that selects advantage.
ADV.
Okay. Why is that a d12? No.
Stop making me roll wisdom saves.
23.
Everyone is rolling pretty slowly.
Wait.
25.
Wait, this is very important. Ellen, are you pure paladin?
Say what?
Are you a pure paladin?
Or
did you multi-class at all?
I didn't multi-class at all with Ellen.
Okay, so what's your charisma bonus?
My charisma bonus
Yes.
is a +3.
Okay, so because Silas would be closer to the front as well, he gets that +3 as well, because paladins have an aura of protection that gives their charisma bonus to saves.
I didn't know that about myself.
I learned.
How do you not read about your own character?
Easy, we have lots of them. There's a lot to know.
There's a
we
lot.
also just level 7.
You
So that
all
gives me 7.
So who rolled below 10?
I'm not sure what I rolled because everyone was rolling and I couldn't
You
see
can do
what
it
my
again.
number
It's fine.
was.
You can do it again. If you
Okay.
missed it, it's fine. I'm fair.
Merciful.
Oh, I already wrote it. Look at me.
So you got just shy of a 10.
Oh shit.
Well, Ivara, this is a
Wait, I can add a D4, but I'm guessing it's not gonna make. It's not gonna make a
no.
difference.
If you get a 1, that's all you need to
Oh, okay.
to pass.
Yeah, that is based
well,
on
then
Can I
I'm
cast-
gonna fucking roll.
Can I cast Bliss on Silas and Ivara? You-
I already have
to give
guidance
them an
on
extra
me.
D4?
I mean,
Okay.
it's the minimum you could have rolled anyway. So yeah, you can use that to boost it up to 10. So you'll shake off this feeling. Silas,
Do we get blessed or no?
here's the
From
thing, Mira.
our
I'm going to say,
gracious.
though, that prior to what you've been talking about in this state of mind you've been in, it might not be the most prevalent focus for you at the moment. Just because. Silas, I
Okay.
will say this. I need you to roll a D100.
No, I got one of those earlier, right?
Yeah, but this
How's the
one's...
crazy person not being subjected to the crazies?
I will say, upon feeling this like kind of head fog feeling coming on, Ivara is going to place her hand on her chest and she's going to cast Enhance Ability with Owl's Wisdom, so she will have advantage
Okay.
on wisdom checks.
Got it. Keep that
So
in
that's
mind going
That's a
into next
35.
session.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Don't just
That
laugh
chuckle,
at an
though.
arbitrary number.
At the moment, as you start to step forward towards the mouth of this cave, you hesitate the most, and a wave of fear comes across you. You are going to currently, and into the next session, be in the frightened state. I need you to roll a d10 to determine how many minutes that will last.
Wait, ooh.
That's a 2.
Okay. So it won't be long enough for it to have a impactful detrimental fee to you. But it's going to be a rough entry. So, as you all face the mouth of this cave, knowing that your ally somewhere deep within it lies and is being held hostage. You've heard of the world beneath the world go by names like Kyber itself or the Underdark. But it's the only way you know to get through back to town. An indeterminate amount of time. But at least with all of you and your combined efforts, you might be able to find some hope that you'll get there sooner than later. And with an uncertainty on the other side of the path, you walk through together. And what lies on the other side of that entry, we'll find out next time.
No! No! I knew it! I could smell it! I could smell it! Ah!
Thanks, everybody, for watching tonight. We truly appreciate it. We will see you next time with our next episode, which will be next Sunday. So thank you again, everybody, for myself and the cast, and for everybody at To Be Diced. We will catch you next time for another episode of Frontiers of Eberron. Until then, I don't know. I don't think I have a sign-off thing for this, but we'll see you next time.
Yeehaw.